Yeah.
So hi everyone and welcome to this video where I'll be spilling all the tea about my newest pattern release, which is Nomad Slippers. So in this video I will first give you like a brief introduction to the design and the pattern, and then later on in the video I will also go into some like pattern specific like technical things that I will show you and demonstrate so that you have the hang of it. So I'll try to do that timestamp thing where you can click forward to the section that you're specifically interested in. But yeah, so this is a Nomad Slipper. Nomad Slipper, say hi to the audience. And this is actually a design that I started in the very first vlog that I posted on this channel. So this is like a full circle moment, like we started design together and now I'm here presenting the new design for you. So I would say that there are two reasons to why this pattern and design came to be. The first one was really that I was just so eager to make a slipper. Like I didn't have a slipper in my pattern catalog, and I just really I just think you can do cool stuff with slippers. So that was the first reason. And then the second reason was that I've had this idea about making like some kind of mini version of Nomad jackets, like an entry point Nomad jacket. Because you know, Nomad jacket is such a big project. It's like a jacket. It takes a long time to knit. So I thought it would be cool to have like a smaller project where people can try out the different techniques that Nomad jacket is made up of. And so Nomad slipper is like the merge of those two reason or ideas. So it's like it's a slipper obviously, but it's also like a mini version of Nomad jacket. So if you have been wanting to try to, if you've been keen to try to knit Nomad jacket, I think this is like a good entry point level. Not like they're exactly the same, but they have some of the same techniques, like the honeycomb brioche. They have a little part of double knitting, and then it also has the attached I-cords. So you get to try out those three techniques that also Nomad jacket has. So the way that you knit this slipper is actually really fun. It's a lot of fun to knit. So as you can see, like the slipper is quite sturdy and has a lot of structure to it. And that is due to the sole that is worked in the round. So you do this cool cast on, which is called Judy's Magic Cast On. And I'll have a tutorial film for that. So all of the techniques will have a tutorial linked to them so that you can check out the tutorial for the specific technique. But Judy's Magic Cast On is basically like a cast on where you get a seamless cast on for when you begin to work in the round. So you can't tell where the edge stops and starts, if that makes sense. It's really cool and it's quite simple, so it's fun to try out. But then you work the sole in the round from that magic cast on, and then you shape it with increases and decreases to get this shape, and then you bind off the edge with Kitchener stitch, which is another technique that I also have a new tutorial for. So once you have the sole done, it's time to start working on the main parts of the slippers. So that is like the overlaying parts, like the wrap detail. And the main part is worked from the heel flap. So you have a double knitted heel flap at the back, which gives it some structure as well, and also has that, you know, tug effect that you want to have on a slipper. And it's also a neat detail, you know. So you work the heel flap in double knitting, and then you pick up stitches along one of the long sides of the heel flap, and then you work the one side of the main part this way, and then you pick up stitches along the other side, and then you work that part that way. So you will have two flaps that kind of flaps around from the heel flap. And then before you attach the wrap parts, you pick up and knit stitches along the top of the main part to work an I-cord, an attached I-cord. And then you put the overlapping wrap parts together and hold them in place. Then you pick up and knit stitches along the bottom of the main part, and you work an attached I-cord around there as well. And then you do this very magic thing where you crochet. Yes, I said crochet because I'm really not a crocheter, but I did add some crocheting into this project. But it just creates that really nice, like how you attach the main part to the sole. So you do a row of crochet stitches around the main part and a row across the outer part of the sole, and then you crochet the crochet stitches together. It sounds kind of complicated, but it really isn't that complicated. And I've also made a very specific tutorial for this, which you can watch later on in this video. So you have all of the details on how to do everything. But yeah, that is basically like a really quick run through of how you knit and crochet Nomad slippers. But I just thought that before I jump into the more instructional videos, that it could be fun to just insert some clips where I casually lounge around in these in my house.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we have the main parts done like this, with the I-cord edge along the top of the main part, it's time to work our magic and create that beautiful wrap detail at the front. So really all we want to do is to put one of the sides over the other, like this. And depending on if you're doing a left slipper or a right slipper, you'll put the opposite side across the other. So for this one we're doing a right slipper because we want the wrap detail to go across the outside of the foot. So since we already have a lefty, I want this one to be a right leaning foot. And in terms of the placement, you want to make sure that the very front of this I-cord edge along either side is aligned with where the decreases for the outer edge of the shoe begins. So for example, this is where the decreases begin for the slipper. Then I want to align that edge right there. So you can see the decreases begin here, and then I put that edge right there. And the same part in this, the same thing on this side. So the decreases begin right here, and I align that with the outer edge of that I-cord, like that. You can definitely like put some markers or like pins in this if you want to hold it in place. But I'm a rebel, so I'm just going to wing it and sew it like roughly together to hold it in place. So I begin right here, and I just sew like at the very edge of this, just up and down to like hold them in place. Because later on you will pick up and knit stitches along this edge to make an I-cord edge. So as you can see, I'm just making sure that this, that the edge here is aligned with that beginning of the rounded edge. And that's really all you need to do, because like I said, then you will pick up and knit stitches along this edge to do the attached I-cord along this one. So that is how you make the wrap detail for the slippers. Okay, so fast forward to a few steps forward where we're about to crochet the edges. I'm really not a crocheter, so if I can do this, so can you. And we're making single crochet stitches, which seem to mean like different things in different countries, hence why I'm showing you. So this is how you do a single crochet. So I'm using a red thread, so you will be able to see it a bit better. So we're doing the single crochets at the edge of the sole. So I like to look at where the edge stitch right up here goes, and then I follow that, and then I begin a bit slow further down. So I just insert my crochet hook and I pull the yarn through like that. And then for the first stitch, I just pull the yarn through again, like that. And then I'm going into my next stitch and pulling the yarn through like that, so that I have 2 stitches. And then I once again pull the yarn and pull it through both of the stitches, like that. And that's simply how you do a single crochet stitch. So I go into this stitch, pull the yarn through so that I have 2 loops on the needle or the hook, and then I pull the yarn through those. So I continue like that, pull the yarn through, pull the yarn through. So this is what the single crochet edge will look like. Okay, so now we're on to the very last step of the slipper, where we're going to attach the main part to the sole and make them become one unified slipper. So as you can see, we have the main part and then we have the sole. The things you wanted to consider are that you have kind of like a upside and a downside of the sole. So I prefer to have the side where I crochet the stitches from the side that I like crochet them from. So as you can see, these have kind of looks like a braid on the upper side, and then on the bottom it looks more like a row of pearl stitches if you're referring to something knitted. So you want the pearl side to be facing downwards, so like onto the ground, and then this one looks like the same, so you have this one from this side, and then you want to place the main part on top of the sole. You want to make sure that the center of the back of the sole is aligned with the center of the heel flap. So I will just put them like this. You can use markers. I just have like these tiny pins. So I just pin that through like that. And then you want to make sure that the front of the main part is aligned with the center front of the sole. So if I have like the overlapping parts, the back is there and the front, or the one on the top is right here, So like the middle, the center point of the slipper is right here. So I want to align that with the center of the sole, like that. And attach that with a needle as well, like that. And then as you can see, the sole will be a little bit bigger. So the way that I do this is that I kind of like stretch out my work, and then I just put down a few pins. Like that on that side, so you can see that the fabric is kind of like distributed evenly across the sole. And then I do the same thing on this side, like that, and then at the front. Like that. So now the sole is pinned in place to the main part, and all we gotta do is crochet the crocheted edges together. And the thing is that since we haven't like counted that we have like the exact same stitches, you'll need to adapt as you go. So like I will do like one stitch through each stitch, and then if I notice that I have more stitches left for the main part than the sole, I will skip a stitch on the main part to just like even out the spaces. And once again, I'm using a red thread to show you how the stitch looks, so it's easier to see. But as you can see, we have these two rows of the edge of the single stitch crochet. So the slip stitch is kind of like a seamless stitch. So we're going through the first layer, which is the main part, and then the bottom layer, which is the sole, and then we pull the yarn through just like that. So we just have the yarn running through, and then we go through the next stitch, the next two stitches. So we're going through both of the layers, the main part and the sole, and we pull the yarn through and then through that first stitch as well. And then you can just pull on the end a little bit. And then we do the same thing again, go through both of the layers, pull the yarn through, and then pull the yarn through that loop as well. Like that. So you can see there's no like visible seam here, but you're holding it together through that and through this top. And then you just continue to do this slipped stitch all around the slipper. And this will hold the sole and the main part together. Okay, so that is it for this little introduction plus how to knit Nomad slippers. I hope this kind of video format is both helpful and interesting to you guys. And I hope there's so many of you that want to knit the Nomad slippers and that I'll be able to see some of your versions on Instagram and TikTok and Pinterest. Make sure to tag me wherever you post your pictures. I'm woolandbeyond everywhere, so just tag me and hook me up and I'll like and share your pics. That's it for this video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It helps out a lot. We're nearly 2,000 subscribers, so that will be cool to hit soon. But yeah, thank you so much and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!